Our IDville Visitor Express system allows you to keep your campus secure, your visitors ID'd, and most importantly, your students safe. I'll take you through a quick demo of the software, so let's dive into it. Visitor Express software is geared to identify your visitors that come in and out of your school, print them a visitor pass, but also make sure they're not in the National Sex Offender Database. This is the login screen to type in your username and password. Once you log in, this is the main screen that you're going to be working out of. As you can see, this is the Visitor Information tab. At the top, there's the other tabs, the Offender Information tab, Reports tab, and the Settings tab. So the software is a tab-driven software. The Visitor Information tab is where you're going to type in the information about your visitors, or you can scan their driver's license and it will pull all of their information from their driver's license into the software. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a record that's already in the system. That way we can see what it looks like to have a person's record up on the screen. Once you scan a person's driver's license, it's going to drop all of their information into the software like you see here. So you have the person's picture, their first name, last name, date of birth. Once you have all their information here into the software, the next step is to type in the person they're going to visit. So today, let's say I'm going to go see Mrs. Redman, and I'm going to go see her in the first grade. Once you type in their information, you're going to go ahead and hit verify and save. What verify and save does is it checks to make sure that the person you're checking in as a visitor is not in the National Sex Offender Database. All you do is click the verify and save. It's going to see me as a previous visitor here because I'm in the software. But as you can see now, it gives me the ability to print my badge, which means I'm not on that sex offender database. Let's go ahead and pull up a sex offender in the system. That way you can see what it looks like when a sex offender alert does come through. So let's say I'm John Smith, and I have a date of birth of 1/1/75. You then can take the person's picture. So in this case, if I did not have my driver's license with me, you're just going to type in these three fields, and then you're going to take a picture with this camera. So as you see, I pulled up a live view from the camera. I have the visitor sitting in front of my camera. All I'll do is hit take picture. After I take a picture, it actually zooms in a little bit. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to type in the person that John Smith is going to go see. So we're going to go see Dan, and we're going to see him in the 5th grade. I'm going to hit verify and save. What it's going to do now, it sees John Smith as a previous visitor. I'm going to say person not in this list. And you can see that there were sex offender records found for John Smith. This alert pops up when it does detect a sex offender with the same criteria as your visitor. You click OK. What it does now is it drops the person's picture that's in front of you to the right and the actual sex offenders in the database of the National Sex Offender Database to the left. What you can do then is you actually can cycle through, if you do have multiple offenders here that have the name John Smith or an alias named John Smith. That way you can check to make sure the person on your left is not the actual visitor on your right. You then can go back to the Visitor Information tab. In the case that the visitor on the left is the person on the right, you can alert anyone you want notified via text message or email simply by clicking the Send Alerts button. This is something that you set up during the install, and you choose the individuals you want notified, such as the local police, the principal, teachers. Anyone that you want notified can be notified once you hit the Send Alerts button. So let's go back to the Visitor Information tab. And obviously, this John Smith is good to go to see Dan in the 5th grade. All we'll do now is we'll hit Print Badge. Once you print the badge that will show up will be a badge that looks just like this. You'll have the person's picture on the badge. You'll have their name, who they're there to see, the location, and it will time and date stamp it. That way, in case you see this person walking around the halls and you see that, hey, you came in at 10:50, it's 4 in the afternoon, you know that visitor's been there for a long time, and you can make sure that they're at the right location. Also on the badge is a big red void button. You actually put a white sticker on top of this void button, and the void will bleed through after 24 hours, voiding out the badge. This way, the visitor cannot try and gain access the next day using the same badge because the void sticker will have bled through. Also included on the badge is a barcode. That barcode can be scanned by the barcode scanner that the system comes with to check the visitor out when they're leaving. You simply just put the barcode underneath the scanner and it scans the barcode and checks the visitor out right then and there. The other features of the software, we did go to the offender information tab, which showed you the offender. It'll show the markings, the charges, aliases. The next tab we're going to cover is the reports tab. Now the reports tab can show you any visitors that you want to report on by date and time. You can view a report of the visitors by date here. So if you want to see how many visitors you've had over the course of a school year, to be able to report data, as well as just to see who's in the actual building at that time. You can run a view not signed out report. This case, if there's a fire or something, an emergency where you want to know who's on site, you simply click the view not signed out report. You can also report on your volunteers, and this is the same for the student pickup report and the tardies, and a tardy report. The visitor information tab, this is also where you can access the ability to log approved pickups of your students and tardies and early dismissals for your students. So the case that Jennifer Hale here wants to be picked up by her father, you can see that Paul Hale is an approved person to pick up Jennifer Hale. You simply click on the student and you click log approved and print badge, or just log approved pickup. This way you're making sure that you're handing the students off to the right parents. The same goes for the tardy and early dismissal. You select the student and you select the reason for their tardy, and then you can log the tardy for that student, and you can log and print a tardy pass to give to the student, which they would turn in to their teacher once they arrived at their classroom. This way it'll prevent them from wandering around the halls. It'll actually make them go right to class because they have a time that they're stamped in getting into school. This is the same spot where you'd log an early dismissal and log an early dismissal and approved pickup. And they can also check previous visits for students and staff and visitors. The fourth and final tab is the settings tab. This is where you're just setting your time. This is where you're selecting your printers and your scanners and calibrating it. One other feature of the software is the ability to make a note on a visitor's record. So let's say the last time I came in, I made a ruckus at the front desk. You can click unwanted visitor, and you can make a new record about that visitor. So let's say the last time I came in, I was loud and angry. You can then type in the description, please call principal when visitor arrives. So now the next time that I come into the building, there's going to have that note about me being loud and angry. So every time I go to check in, there'll be this record. You can also use this if you wanted to tag a person who comes to the school a lot as a visitor but forgets to check out when they leave. You can put a note on their account to tell them, hey, the next time you come through, please check out when they're checking in on the next time. We'll go ahead and close this, As you can see, I've got the previous visits for all of my history, all the people that I was seeing, and the location. But this is it. This is the Visitor Express software. It's user-friendly. It allows you to check your visitors in, print them a visitor pass, and check to make sure they're not in the National Sex Offender Database, all with under 30 seconds. Thank you for letting me take you through a demo of our Visitor Express software. For your own personalized demo for you and your staff, feel free to give us a call or find us online at idville.com. Thank you.